Hello, welcome to our mathematics class. Again, this is me, Miss Kazel, your mathematics teacher. Right now, we will talk about factoring general trinomials. Okay, when we say factoring trinomials, it is converting an algebraic expression from a trinomial expression to a binomial expression. We know that a trinomial, it's a polynomial that has three terms or with three terms with a general expression as a, ax squared plus bx plus c, where a and b are coefficients and c is a constant. Alright, for you to really understand the topic, let me give you some examples. Okay, here are some rules for factoring trinomials, and I already discussed it in our class. And that's one. Okay, if all terms of the trinomial rather, are positive, then all terms of the binomials will be positive. Now, here is an example. If you have x squared plus 5x plus 6, as you can see, all the terms in the trinomial are positive. Therefore, the answer should be, therefore, the answer is that all binomials should be positive. Alright, now let's solve this one. Again, this, the first thing to do, you write, let me change the color. Okay, open and close parenthesis, 2, open and close parenthesis. Okay, now again, all the binomials should be positive. Now, if you have here x squared, we have, to get x squared, we will multiply x by x. So the x here and the other x is here. Alright, after that one, we have here the last term 6. Now let us know what are the factors of 6. Now the factors of 6, we have 1 multiplied by 6, we have 2 and 3, we have 3 and 2, we have 6 and 1. Okay, we know that the product of these numbers, is 6. Now, among these 4 here, we will find one in which the sum is equal to 5. Alright, now let me erase this one. Okay, we will change it into addition. Okay, change it into addition. Alright, now if you have this 1 added to 6, the answer is 7. 2 added by 3, the answer is 5. Therefore, we already have this number. Okay, so we have 2 and 3. So you put 2 here and 3 here. And this is already our answer. Now, let's do the checking. Okay, now let me put the factored form here. X. plus 2 and x minus 3. Plus rather, plus 3. And close it. So I will erase this now. Okay, let's do the checking. Now, if you have x multiplied by x, we have x squared. If you have x multiplied by positive 3, we have positive 3x. Then, if you have 2 multiplied it to x, we have positive 2x. And if you have positive 2 multiplied it to positive 3, the answer is positive 6. Alright, now bring down the first term. Combine the middle terms. If you have positive 3x and positive 2x, the answer is positive 5x. And bring down positive 6. Therefore, these factors, these factors are correct. This one, x plus 2 and x plus 3. Okay, now let's move to the next example. Okay, we have x squared plus 6x plus 9. Again, all the terms are positive. Therefore, all the terms of the binomials should be positive also. Alright, okay, let me erase it. Okay, equals, you write, open and close parenthesis, and we put plus here and here. Now let's focus on the first term. We have x squared, so therefore we have x and x. Now after that one, let's move to 9. The last term we have 9. Now the factors of 9, okay, we have 1 and 9, 3 and 3, and 9 and 1. Alright, now the product of these numbers is 9. However, we have to find the best factor that has a sum of positive 6. Now, if we will add 1 and 9, the answer is 10. But if we will add 3 and 3, the answer is 6. So, therefore, we have 3 and 3. So, you write 3 here and 3 here. And that is now our final answer. Now, to really check if that is correct, then let's do the checking. If you have x multiplied by x, the answer is x squared. If you have x, you multiplied it to positive 3, the answer is positive 3x. If you have positive 3, you multiplied it to x, again, the result is positive 3x. And if you have positive 3, multiplied it to positive 3, the answer is positive 9. Alright, bring down the first term. Combine the middle terms. If you have positive 3x and positive 3x, the answer is positive 6x, and then bring down positive 9. Therefore, our factored form is correct. Alright, now let's have this one. If the last term and the first term of the trinomial are positive, but the middle term is negative, then both signs of the binomial will be negative. Okay, let's try this. We have x squared minus 20x plus 20. Okay, according to the rule, if the first and the last are positive and the middle sign is negative, both signs of the binomials will be negative. Okay, let me erase this. Okay, put equals here. Okay, right. This again, all the signs of the binomials will be negative. You have x squared here, we have x and x. Now, we have here 20. Now let's know the factors of 20. We have the factors of 20, we have 1 and 20. We also have 2 and 10. We have 4 and 5. We have 5 and 4, 10 and 2, and 20 and 1. So the product of these numbers is 20. However, among these factors, we will find one pair in which the sum is 12. Alright, if you have 1 and 20, its sum is 21. If you have 2 and 10, its sum is 12. Therefore, we have here 2 and 10. And that is our answer. And for us to really know if our answer is correct, then let's do the checking. Alright. Now, if you have x multiplied to x, the answer is x squared. If you have x multiplied to negative 10, the answer is negative 10x. If you have negative 2 multiplied it to x, the answer is negative 2x. And if you have negative 2 multiplied it to negative 10, again, when you multiply like signs, the answer is positive. So negative 2 times negative 10, the answer is positive 20. Then bring down the first term. Combine the second term. If you have negative 10x and negative 2x, the answer is negative 12x. And then bring down positive 20. Therefore, x minus 2 and x minus 10 are the factors or the exact factors of x squared minus 20x plus 20. Another example. Alright, we have here x squared minus 9x plus 20. Alright, we have x squared minus 9x plus 20. Okay, now take note. The first and the last term are positive. However, the middle term is negative. Again, if the first and the last are positive and the middle is negative, the binomial factors should have a negative sign. We have here negative and negative. If you have x squared, then we have x and x. Now we have 20. Again, what are the factors of 20? We have 1 and 20. We have 2 and 10. We have 4 and 5, 5 and 4, 10 and 2, 20 and 1. Again, the product of these numbers is 20. However, among these factors, we will find one pair in which the sum is 9. If you have 1 added to 20, the answer is 21. If you have 2 added to 10, the answer is 12. But if you have 4, add it by 5, the answer is 9. Therefore, we have here 4 and 5. Now, for us to check if this is correct, then let's do the checking. Okay, if you have x multiplied to x, the answer is x squared. If you have x multiplied it to negative 5, the answer is negative 5x. Now, if you have negative 4 multiplied it to positive x, the answer is negative 4x. If you have negative 4 multiplied to negative 5, the answer is positive 20. Okay, we have here positive 20. Alright, bring down the first term, x squared, and then if you have negative 5x plus negative 4x, the answer is negative 9x. And bring down positive 20. Therefore, that is correct. Alright, now let's have another one. Okay, now if the last term of the trinomial is negative, but the middle term of the trinomial, the middle and the first term of the trinomial are positive, one of the term of the binomial will be negative and the other will be positive. Now, the greater factor will be positive and the smaller factor will be negative. Okay, now let's try this one. We have x squared plus 8x minus 20. Again, the first term and the second term are positive and the last term is negative. And based on the given rule, the other binomial is positive and the other is negative. Okay, we have here positive and negative. Now, if you have x squared, we know that when we multiply x and x, the answer is x squared. Therefore, we have here x and x. Now, we have 20 here. Okay, let's have 20. Again, the factors of 20 are, we have 1 and 20. Now, based from the given rule, the greater factor will be positive and the smaller factor will be negative. Now here, the smaller factor here is 1 and the greater is 20. So let's make 1 as negative 1. Now we have here, next, we have 2 times 10 is 20. And again, the smaller factor is negative, therefore it should be negative 2. Another one, we have 4 and 5. And the smaller factor is 4, so we'll make it negative. And we also have 5 and 4, 10 and 2, 20 and 1. Again, the smaller number should be negative and the greater number should be positive. Now, if you have negative, okay, now all the factors, all the product of these numbers is negative 20, which is this one. However, among these factors, we will find one pair in which the sum is positive 8. Now, if you have negative 1, you add it by 20, the answer is positive 19. So, which is, this is eliminated. Now, if you have negative 2, add it to positive 10, the answer is positive 8, which is our middle term is positive 8. So therefore, we have negative 2 and 10. We have negative 2 and positive 10. Okay, for us to really check our answer, okay, let's do the checking. Alright, now let's check. If you have x multiplied it to x, the answer is x squared. If you have x multiplied it to negative 2, the answer is negative 2x. Now, if you have positive 10 multiplied it to positive x, the answer is positive. Okay, the answer is positive 10x. If you have positive 10 multiplied it to negative 2, the answer is negative 20. Alright. Now, bring down the first term. We have here x squared. Now, combine the middle term. As you can see, we have here 2x plus 10x. So they have different signs. Now, if they have different signs, that means we have to subtract them. Now, we have to subtract 10 by 2. If you have 10 subtracted by 2, the answer is 8. Now, what is the sign of 10? We have positive. So, we have positive 8x minus 20. Therefore, these factors are correct. Alright, another. Now we have here x squared plus 5x minus 6. Again, the first and the second terms are positive, but the last term is negative. Now, based from the given rule, the other binomial factor is positive and the other binomial factor is negative. The bigger number should be positive and the smaller number should be in the negative. Okay, now focus on the first term. We have here x squared. If you have x squared, that means we multiplied x by x, that is x squared. Okay, x here and x here. Now after that one, focus on the last term. We have negative 6. We have 6. Now the factors of 6, we have 1 and 6. Again, the smaller number should be negative. Next to that, we have 2 and 3. Now, between 2 and 3, the smaller is 2, so we'll make it negative. Aside from that, we also have 6 and 1. The smaller is 1, so we have negative 1. Now, the product of these factors is negative 6. However, we have to find one pair in which the sum is positive 5. Now, if you have negative 1 plus positive 6, that means we have positive 5. So, therefore, we already have this. So, the bigger the number should be at the positive, which is 6, and the smaller one should be in the negative. So, this will be now our answer. Now, let us check if this is really correct. Now, let's solve this. If you have x multiplied by x, the answer is x squared. If you have x multiplied by negative 1, the answer is negative x. Now, if you have positive x multiplied it to x, the answer here is positive 6x. And if you have positive 6 multiplied it by negative 1, the answer is negative 6. Now, bring down the first term. Combine the middle terms. Take note, they have different sign. The other is negative x, while the other is positive 6x. That means we have to subtract them, copy the sign of the bigger number. Okay, the bigger is 6, so we have to copy the sign, which is positive. We subtract it. 6 subtracted by 1, we have 5. And then the variable x, and then bring down 6. Which means our answer is correct. Alright, now this one. If the middle term and the last term, okay, we have this. The middle term and the last term are negative, but the first term, this one, is positive here. The first term is positive. Now, the sign of the binomials will be positive and the other will be negative. Alright, let's have this. According to the rule, the other binomial is positive and the other is negative. But this is quite different with what we had earlier. It is because here, the greater factor will be negative and the smaller will be positive. Unlike we had earlier, the greater factor will was the positive and the smaller was the negative. And here, it's not the same. Now, we have here x squared. If you have x squared, that means you have x multiplied to x. Now we have here the last term, negative 7. Okay, now the factors of 7 are 1 and 7 and 7 and 1. Now here, the bigger number or the greater factor is 7. Based from the rule, the greater number is negative. Alright. Now, so if we multiply 1 and negative 7, the answer is negative 7. And if we add these numbers, the answer is negative 6. Therefore, our factors here is 1 and 7. Again, the smaller number will be positive. The bigger number will be negative. Alright, to check whether it's correct, now let's do the checking. Alright, now if you have x multiplied it to x, the answer is x squared. And if you have x multiplied it to negative 7, the answer is negative 7x. Now, if you have 1 multiplied it to x, the answer is 1x, but just write only x. Now, if you have positive 1 multiplied it to negative 7, the answer is negative 7. Now, after that, you bring down the first term. And then, you combine the middle terms. As you can see, our middle terms are negative 7x and positive x. Take note, they have different signs. That means we have to subtract them. Then, the result is negative 6x. And then you bring down negative 7. That means x plus 1 and x minus 7 are the factors of this expression. Alright, now let's have this. Now if our middle and last terms are negative 5x and negative 24, and the first term is positive x squared. Now again, the other binomial is positive and the other binomial is negative. Positive and negative. The greater factor will be negative and the smaller factor will be positive. Alright, now we have here x squared. That means we have x multiplied it to x. Now we have the last term negative 24. Now, what are the factors of 24? Okay, we have 1 and 24. Again, the greater factor will be negative. Now, we have 2 and 12. The bigger number is 12, therefore that is negative. Next, we have 3 and 8. The bigger number is 8, therefore this is negative. Aside from that, we have also 3 and 8. Okay, we have 4 and 6. The bigger number is 6, therefore this is negative. We also have 6 and 4, 8 and 3, 12 and 2, 24 and 1, but make sure the bigger number is negative. Now, among these factors, we will find one pair in which the sum is negative 5. Now, if you have 1 plus negative 24, the answer is negative 23, which is not the same with our middle term. If you have positive 2x minus plus negative 12, the answer is negative 10. Therefore, that is not the exact factor. But if you have positive 3 multiplied it to negative 8, the answer is negative 5. Therefore, that is now our factors. We have here 3 and 8. That is now our answer. Now, to check whether it's correct, now let's do that checking. Alright, if you have x multiplied by x, the answer is x squared. If you have x multiplied it to negative 8, the answer is negative 8x. If you have positive 3 times x, the answer here is positive 3x. If you have positive 3 multiplied it to negative 8, the answer is negative 24. Alright. Copy the first term. Combine the middle terms in which we have negative 8x plus 3x. Take note, they have different signs, therefore that means we have to subtract them. Copy the sign of the bigger number. The bigger number is 8, therefore we have to use subtraction here or negative. We have 8 subtracted by 3, we have 5x minus 24. Therefore, our factored form is correct. Alright, now we have this 3x squared minus 4x minus 4. Take note, our first term here has a coefficient of 3. So, here actually we can apply the trial and error, but for us to really get the desired answer, then we will follow the step-by-step process. Now, I will give you 5 steps to do this one. Okay, now let's start for the step 1. As for the step 1, we will multiply the first term and the last term. Now, that will be our step 1. If you have 3x squared multiplied by negative 4, the answer is negative 12x squared. Okay. Alright, now We are done with our step 1, so let's proceed with step 2. Now, as for the step 2, let's focus here on the negative 12x squared. Negative 12x squared. Alright. Now here, we will find the factors of negative 12x squared. Now, since it is negative, just like we had earlier, the greater the number should be negative. Now, let's start with 1 times 12. Now, the greater number is 12, then that will make it negative. Now, since we have here x squared, that means we have here x and we have here x. Now, aside from that, we also have 2 times 6. The greater number is 6, then that is negative. Now, since that is x squared, that means we have here it is 2x and it is negative 6x. Now, aside from that, we also have 3 and 4. The greater number is 4, therefore that is negative. Then we also have x here since we have x squared there. X and x. We also have 4 and 3, 6 and 2, 12 and 1. Make sure that the greater number is negative. Now, all these pairs have a product of negative 12x squared. But among these pairs, we will find one pair in which the sum is negative 4x. Now, if you have 1 added by negative 12, 1x or x added to negative 12x, the answer is negative 11x. Thus, this is not correct. Now, if you have positive 2x plus negative 6x, the answer is negative 4. Therefore, this pair is what we are looking for. 2x and negative 6x squared. Now, for us to solve it easily, write first negative 6x plus 2x. That will be now our step 2. Now, let me erase this. Now, let's proceed with step 3. In step 3, we will just rewrite the expression. So, you will copy the first term, 3x squared. Now, do not copy this middle term. Instead, use this in the step 2. So, we have negative 6x plus 2x. And copy negative 4. Alright, that will be now our step 3. After that one, let's proceed to step 4. Now, let me erase our this one. Okay, let's have step 4 here. Now as for the step 4, we will go back to factoring by grouping. Now, in this polynomial, we will group them into two binomials. We have 3x squared minus 6x plus 2x minus 4. Okay, let's group them. That is the first binomial, and this is the second binomial. Alright, now let me erase this. Okay, after that one, we'll check it first if all the operations are correct. Now, if we have 3x squared minus 6x, that is correct. Now, if you have positive times positive, the answer is positive. If you have positive times negative, the answer is negative. Therefore, that is correct. After that one, let's solve this using factoring by group. No, using common monomial factoring. So let's solve the first binomial. Okay, you put equals here. Alright, our first term we have 3x squared, and our second term is 6x. Now, the greatest common factor of 3 and 6 is 3. Now, if you have 3 divided by 3, the answer is 1, and we have here x and x. Now, if you have 6 divided by 3, the answer is 2, and we have here x. Thus, the GCF here is 3x. So you write here 3x. We have open parenthesis. As for the first term, the remaining here is x minus, here the remaining is 2. Then you close it. Copy the operation plus, and then let's solve for the second binomial. Let me erase this. Alright, we have 2x minus 4. Our first term here is 2x, and the second term is 4. Alright, okay. Now, 2 and 4, its greatest common factor is 2. Now, 2 divided by 2, we have 1. We have here x. 4 divided by 2, we have 2. And thus, the greatest common factor here is 2. Okay, you write 2 here. Okay, let me change the color. Let me erase this. Okay, we have 2. And then the remaining factor, oh, let me change the color. The remaining factor here is x, and then copy the sign minus. The remaining here is 2, and then you close it. Alright, now let me erase this. Okay, he put equals. Common factors, we have, oh, let me erase this again. common factor is x minus 2. Then, close parenthesis, open parenthesis, our first GCF, we have 3x plus 2. Alright, and this will be our final answer. Now, for us to really know if this is correct, then let's proceed to step 5, checking. Okay, let me erase this so we can proceed to step 5. Alright, now we have here step 5. Okay, now if you have x multiplied by 3x, the answer is 3x squared. 3x squared. If you have x multiplied by positive 2x, 2 rather, the answer is positive 2x. Alright, now if you have negative 2 multiplied by positive 3x, the answer here is no, it's negative 6x. Negative 6x. And if you have negative 2 multiplied by positive 2, the answer here is negative. Alright, let me change the color. The answer here is negative 4. Alright, now copy the first term. We have 3x squared. Combine the middle terms. We have positive 2x minus negative 6x. Take note, they have different sign. That means we have to subtract it. Copy the sign of the bigger number. The bigger one is 6, therefore you copy the middle, the sign of the bigger number, which is negative. So 6 subtracted by 2, we have 4, and then x minus 4. Therefore, our factored form is correct. Okay, how about this one? Kindly solve it and leave your answer as comment down below. Thank you so much. Keep learning, keep growing. Thank you for watching.